Okay, think about this for a second. Our phones, our cars, all the tech around us, it just evolves incredibly fast, right? Like fundamentally changing year after year.
Absolutely. The pace is staggering.
But then you look at our education system. Has it really kept up? I mean, in a lot of ways, doesn't it feel a bit stuck? Maybe even like over a century ago?
That's a huge question.
Yeah, and it leads to the bigger one. How do we actually prepare kids for a future that is just constantly shifting?
They're a real challenge.
And that's exactly the kind of powerful question that's driving our deep dive today. We're looking at a really visionary source document. It's called MFILA Business Plan Exec 2019.pdf, authored by Rita C. Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't, just your standard business plan. It really lays out this comprehensive blueprint for a potentially completely new way of thinking about education.
It's definitely ambitious.
So our mission today is to explore this Masterforce International Leadership Academy, or MPLA, their whole approach. We want to get into its core philosophy and really unpack how they propose creating what they call whole brain learners.
Yeah, it's quite something. The scope of it is pretty remarkable. It's proposing a fundamental shift, really.
A shift away from just,
Away from just the standard academic metrics, it's focused on a much more holistic view of child development.
yeah,
Empowering the whole person, not just drilling for test scores.
right. So they paint this picture of educational stagnation. But they don't just stop there. They really launch into a pretty strong critique. What's the core of their argument against traditional learning?
Well, they state it pretty plainly. They say the actual process of public education hasn't fundamentally changed in over 100 years.
A century. Wow.
Yeah, and they contrast that directly with technology, like you mentioned, iPhones, iPads, stuff that gets reinvented constantly.
And they argue that the current system relies too much on, rote learning.
Rote learning, yeah, and materials they call it ancient, stuff they feel just isn't relevant for the future these kids are facing.
They also mention this happening through a political lens.
Yeah.
What do you think they mean by that?
Well, they seem to suggest that decisions aren't always based purely on what's best for learning, but may be influenced by other agendas or, political considerations, potentially missing solutions that are already out there.
Okay. And they back this up with some data, right? Some statistics.
Oh, yeah. The document lays out some pretty unsettling statistics, they call them, like less than a third of U.S. fourth graders being proficient in reading, math, science, American history, based on those big NAEP assessments.
The nation's report card.
Exactly. And it gets worse for low-income students. Over half lacked even basic knowledge in those areas.
Mhm.
And internationally, U.S. eighth graders were ranking 19th out of 38 in math. 18th in science, 12th graders. Even lower, relatively speaking, 18th out of 21 countries in combined math and science.
Those numbers are definitely concerning. But MFILA's point isn't just about the scores themselves, is it? They argue these tests miss something crucial.
Precisely. Their observation is that these stats mostly measure, quote, left brain output.
Okay, the analytical side.
Right, and they neglect things like intuition, imagination, relaxation, visualization qualities. MPLA believes are often kind of trivialized in the usual process.
So their goal, their stated intention, is to trigger whole brain learners.
Exactly. People who can integrate both sides, the analytical and the creative, intuitive side, to really excel.
So before we get deeper into MPLA, tell us a bit about the parent organization, Masterforce, Inc.
Sure. So Masterforce, as of 2019, when this plan was written, was already a 30-year-old not-for-profit.
30 years, okay.
Yeah, initially focused on helping under-resourced teenagers and their families, but it grew from there, expanding to work with whole families, communities, even organizations. Their coaches were already using the Masterforce curriculum, the MFC, within existing school programs.
So MPLA sees itself as an ultimate partner then, working with schools and communities.
That's the framing. They want to partner up to fill what they see as a gap, specifically providing that right brain stimulation they feel is missing from the typical left brain focused curriculum.
And the goal isn't just better grades, it's broader than that.
Much broader. It's about whole brain learning for holistic child empowerment. They believe this will naturally lead to better social behavior in the community, too. It's a whole transformation they're aiming for.
And it's not just kids. They developed adult courses, too.
Correct. They developed full adult courses and even a life coach certification course starting back in 2010. Apparently, that program produced over 300 life coaches globally.
Wow, that's a built-in network.
Exactly. A potential network for global satellite locations for these academies down the line. A pretty solid foundation, like he said.
Okay, let's visualize this. The plan was for the first physical Master Force Leadership Academy to open in Chicago, planned for 2020. Describe this place for us.
It sounds incredible, honestly. They describe a solid brick building, rose-colored limestone.
Rose-colored, okay.
Yeah, beautifully sculptured, with architectural nods to ancient Egyptian artifacts and the landscaping. Huge place, radiant, manicured, with vegetable gardens, fruit trees, vines. It sounds less like a school and more like a learning sanctuary.
That's a stark contrast to the typical school image, isn't it?
Definitely. And the inside aims for that same welcoming feel. A well-lit foyer, lots of plants, flowers, an aquarium, soft melodic music.
Music in the background.
Yeah, surround sound, apparently. And crucially, they mention hearing the laughter of children as the buzz of learning takes place. It really paints a picture of a vibrant, positive space.
And just to be clear, kids attending MRLA, they're still going to their regular public schools.
That's right. It's designed as a supplement, not a replacement. They'd come to the academy in the evenings, weekends, during school breaks. Specifically, the plan says to develop their genius.
Develop their genius. I like that phrasing. And this first Chicago location, it wasn't meant to be a one-off.
No, not at all. It was conceived as a turnkey methodology, like a blueprint.
Okay.
The idea was to use it to open 2 more in the Chicagoland area relatively quickly. And then, the bigger vision, 7 more nationally and internationally. They list cities like Atlanta, New York, Texas, Iowa, Las Vegas, even Jamaica and somewhere in Africa.
That's a huge leap. Jamaica, Africa. Does the plan detail how they'd adapt the model culturally or logistically for such different places?
You know, it doesn't really dive deep into those specifics. It focuses more on the scalability of the core methodology itself. The implication is that the turnkey model is robust enough, but the nitty-gritty of cultural adaptation for, say, Jamaica versus Iowa isn't fleshed out in this executive summary. It's presented more as the broad strategic goal.
Got it. Okay, let's get to the heart of it then. The methodology itself, they talk about the genius factor in every child. What is that exactly?
Yeah, the genius factor. It's not just about IQ points. They explicitly link it to a child's emotional, spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. It's very holistic.
And the core belief.
The core belief is that every single child has a purpose. And it's basically the job of adults of the community to help them discover that purpose early on.
Okay, and how do they plan to stimulate or expand this genius factor?
Through something they trademarked, the MRV technique, M-A-R-V.
MRV, what does that stand for?
Meditation, affirmation, relaxation, and visualization.
Okay, MARV. And the idea is that this technique directly stimulates the right brain.
That's the claim, that MRV stimulates the, quote, vibration of the right brain, unlocking this inherent potential. Can I walk you through each part?
Please do. Let's break down MRV. Start with M, meditation.
Okay, meditation. They call it the elementary stimuli. It's about teaching kids to still their bodies and minds, shift focus inward, away from external stuff, basically helping them understand how their own brain processes information.
And the benefit.
It's meant to stimulate imagination, creativity, problem solving. Practically, they mention things like a 5-minute peace exercise in classrooms just to center everyone, and a dedicated meditation center with listening stations, different types of meditation music.
Interesting. Okay, next up, A for affirmations.
Right. Affirmations are about countering negative self-talk, the self-doubt that kids, especially those in tough environments, might internalize.
So positive statements.
Exactly. Positive statements about who you are, what you can achieve, focusing on desired outcomes. And they connect this directly to evoking positive emotions.
Why emotions?
Because, according to the plan, that's what activates the law of attraction, the idea that your thoughts and feelings draw similar experiences to you.
Do they give examples?
Yeah, they mention lyrics from their own I Am Jams music track. Things like, I listen to my intuition, I am safe, I always do my homework, I am organized and neat, my life is wonderful. Very positive, specific stuff.
Okay, then R is for relaxation. Seems straightforward, but what's their angle?
Crucial for letting go of stress and worry. The benefits they list are pretty significant. Lower stress means lower cortisol, which helps learning. Quieting thoughts improves memory recall. And relaxation apparently triggers the release of human growth hormone, which aids healing.
Wow. And they connect this to other activities.
Yeah, they mentioned the Chi and martial arts classes specifically reinforce these relaxation techniques, mind-body connection.
Makes sense. And finally, V, visualization.
Visualization. Basically, what you see is what you get, or rather, what you vividly imagine you're more likely to achieve. They even cite its use in the NASA space program for enhancing performance.
So how do students use it?
They're taught to mentally see themselves achieving their desired outcomes. Picturing getting good grades, acing a test, getting into college. They even suggest a process students can use while they're sleeping.
Visualization during sleep. That's
It
different.
is. It shows how deep they're trying to go with these techniques.
And it's important to note, this MIV technique isn't just for the students in the academy.
No, absolutely. They state it's incorporated into all the community development workshops too. So parents, elder volunteers, everyone involved gets trained in and practices MARV. It's meant to create a whole supportive ecosystem around the child.
Okay, so that's the core technique.
Oh.
How is the academy itself structured? You mentioned learning centers.
Right. 10 distinct learning centers, each one designed to stimulate that genius within, and all enhanced by MAV. And a key design philosophy. No walls, just wide open space.
Interesting. To encourage flow and collaboration, maybe?
Seems like it. And the centers cover a huge range. There's the MRV Center itself, obviously, with meditation tools. There's a Chi and martial arts center teaching yoga, Tai Chi, Kung Fu, even to preschoolers for mind-body balance.
What else?
A culinary arts center teaching organic, sugar-free cooking with top chefs. A cyber center where high schoolers learn hardware, software, everything tech. Performing arts, acting, singing, music. A green life center for gardening, sustainability, food processing. And even a healing arts center focused on alternative medicine and preventive care.
That's incredibly comprehensive. And you mentioned paid volunteers, parents and elders.
Yeah, that's part of the community model. Parents and elders can volunteer, get paid for their time, learn alongside the kids, and basically support the whole program. And then there are those nightly community development workshops for the adults, covering things like child rearing, careers, GED prep. It's deeply integrated.
And within this structure, students choose specific paths.
Yes. 4 distinct one-year learning paths. Students choose one each year, potentially exploring all 4 over time. They are technical development, healing connections, creative influence, and performing arts.
So you do a year of tech, then a year of healing arts.
Exactly. The paths are designed to connect with the different learning centers, giving students this really well-rounded, holistic skill set over their 4 years there. Sustained, diverse growth is the idea.
Okay, so that's the physical academy.
Yeah,
But they had plans to go beyond brick and mortar, right? Online expansion.
definitely. A big part of their current phase, as they called it in 2019, was reaching youth worldwide quickly through an online program. It's called AC's Academics Challenge Excellent Students.
ACs. And what does it teach?
It focuses specifically on teaching those right brain methodologies to spark the genius factor. It's targeted mainly at high school students globally.
And there was a really interesting twist with the ACS program, wasn't there? Involving the academy students.
Yes, very innovative. The plan was for the high schoolers attending the Physical Leadership Academy to actually build, supervise, and support the ACES technology platform.
So the students become the tech support and developers.
Essentially, yeah. And MFILA planned to then sell this ACS course and platform to schools, organizations, even prisons around the world. It's a pretty bold model for youth empowerment and creating a revenue stream.
Very entrepreneurial. And then there's a final phase mentioned.
Right. The Leaders in Transition program. This was aimed at young adults, typically aged 18, who are aging out of the state foster care system, becoming wards of the state.
Okay, what's the plan for them?
MFILA intended to house them, train them intensively in the Master Force curriculum, and then hire them as first-level coaches within the organization, giving them a path, skills, employment, and options for further career growth, either inside or outside MFILA.
So really trying to provide a bridge to independence and opportunity.
Exactly. A full-circle approach, trying to break negative cycles.
Now, building all this 10 academies initially, potentially 100 eventually, that takes serious money. What did the budget look like?
Yeah, the numbers are big. The proposed budget mentioned in the executive summary to build and operate 100 academies was $1.150 billion.
Oh, $1.15 billion?
Billion, yeah. It's a massive vision.
So how do they plan to sustain this financially? Where's the revenue coming from beyond initial fundraising, which, as you said, wasn't detailed?
The plan outlines 4 main ongoing revenue streams for sustainability. First, selling those online educational products, the workshops, manuals, apps priced mostly between $10, $25.
Okay, accessible price points.
Second, the community development workshops for adults, priced at $125 per course. Third, the ACS Online Worldwide Program, the 6-module course for high schoolers, priced at $149.99, designed for large-scale, over 2,000 students at once.
Right. And the fourth.
The fourth is the cafeteria inside the Leadership Academy itself. It would provide meals, obviously, but also function as a training ground, teaching students restaurant fundamentals and generating income.
The self-sustaining element there. And those products you mentioned, they cover a wide range.
Very wide. Specific workshop titles, manuals, audio CDs with names like Wealth Manifestation Meditation, and the IM Jams, Affirmation music, DVDs, and even that phone app, Master Force now. It's a whole ecosystem of content.
And how are they planning to get the word out? Marketing.
Pretty comprehensive strategy there, too. Things like hosting community events, igniting the genius in you, advertising in family-focused magazines, direct sales of ACES Online to private and charter schools. They also plan to seek sponsorships from places like Rotary clubs and private businesses, get guest spots on radio and TV, and really leverage social media and build alliances with like-minded organizations.
Makes sense. Now, do they acknowledge other alternative schools or models out there?
They did. There's a similar schools section. Interestingly, their observation was that many existing alternative models tend to be, quote, for affluent children.
Ah, so they were positioning themselves differently.
It seems that way. Given Masterforce's history with under-resourced communities, the implication is that MFILA aimed to make these kinds of whole-brain, holistic methods more accessible to sort of democratize this approach.
That's a key differentiator.
Yeah.
So who are the people driving this incredibly ambitious vision? Let's talk about the core team mentioned.
Sure. The team described brings a really diverse set of skills, which makes sense given the scope. Leading the charge is Rita C. Stewart herself, CEO, project manager, master instructor.
The author of the plan.
Right. Over 30 years of experience noted, including managing big corporate tech training centers, certifying hundreds of life coaches already, deep background in curriculum development, project management, clearly the driving force.
Okay, who else?
Hannah Bakir, the chief marketing officer and senior training manager. She has an international background from Lebanon, certified as a train the trainer and experience with spiritual teaching techniques in youth development. Brings a global perspective, maybe?
Then there's the tech side.
Absolutely crucial for ACS and the cyber centers. Dushan Mosley, the CTO and senior project manager, extensive IT background, project manager, data architect, instructor, worked on projects for Homeland Security and the Department of Defense. So serious experience in tech rollouts and curriculum design.
And the finances. $1 billion vision needs a strong hand on the purse strings.
Indeed. Joanne Cowart, the treasurer and CPA. Her expertise is noted in managing accounting for real estate and community development corporations. She's a CPA and apparently credited with saving a previous organization from losing major government contracts. So, sounds very capable.
And the wellness aspect is central, so who led that?
Dr. Aysar Happy, the director of the Chi Arts and Wellness Program and also a senior training manager. He founded his own health institute, studied Egyptian yoga, recognized leader in holistic medicine, and interestingly, uniquely certified in needleless acupuncture.
Needleless acupuncture.
Yeah, adds to that unique blend of ancient wisdom and modern application.
And there were others mentioned briefly, too.
Yes, the plan also lists directors for performing arts, multimedia, and film centers. Just underscoring how comprehensive the team's expertise was planned to be, covering all those different learning centers and paths. It really highlights the multifaceted nature of the whole project.
So wrapping this up, we've definitely unpacked a truly ambitious vision with the Masterforce International Leadership Academy.
Ambitious is definitely the word.
It's this really unique blend, isn't it? Ancient wisdom, like meditation and Chi arts, mixed with modern tech, like the ACES platform and cyber centers, all focused on this holistic, whole brain education.
Right. And at its heart, it feels like MFILA wasn't just offering, new teaching tricks. They were proposing a fundamental shift, moving away from just acquiring knowledge.
So it's cultivating inner potential.
Exactly. Positioning emotional, spiritual well-being as foundational for academic success, for life success, really.
It definitely challenges our usual ideas about what learning is, what success looks like, particularly perhaps for kids who haven't thrived in the traditional system.
Absolutely. It suggests there's another way to unlock talent, one that actively uses intuition and imagination right alongside the analytics.
So thinking about this, for you listening, What are the takeaways? Maybe consider the idea of whole brain learning for yourself. Are there parts of your own intuition or imagination or even just relaxation that you could maybe intentionally stimulate more? Could that unlock something new for you?
And maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. If MFL's premise holds true that igniting this genius factor through things like meditation, affirmations, relaxation, visualization could genuinely revolutionize education, well, what untapped potential might be lying dormant inside each of us, just waiting for maybe some unconventional methods to unlock it?